What's up guys, Phoenix here. Sorry for the brief hiatus in videos, but I basically just got burnt out on Yu-Gi-Oh! For the time being. From the last three major events being in such close proximity to each other, on top of me trying to maintain a somewhat reasonable uploading schedule, while also working my full-time job, I just got a little bit overwhelmed with the entire situation, and I needed to give myself a little break. But in today's video, I'm going to be starting a new, and hopefully short, Dragunity segment on ways to play the deck successfully without Dragon Ravine. Now I need to give a little disclaimer and clarify that at the time this video was filmed, Dragon Ravine is currently forbidden from official tournament play. Personally, I have a strong feeling that Dragon Ravine will be taken off the forbidden list next format, as I feel it was an overreaction on Konami's part to ban the card outright, while in an all-out attempt to make Dragon Rulers completely unplayable. In the state Dragon Rulers are currently in, Ravine wouldn't help them much, if at all. And being a card that single-handedly makes the Dragunity archetype have any sort of competitive potential, Konami should unban the card. Whether or not they do is anybody's guess at this point, but historically showing, Konami does not like to keep cards banned that completely inhibit a deck's potential, like Ravine being banned is doing currently at this point in time. But until Ravine comes off the ban list, if we are to try and make the deck able to sustain itself in a playable way, we have to outsource to other methods of playing the deck to make up for the consistency that we lost from Dragon Ravine being gone. The first thing I feel like I need to address are the claims people are making all over the place on different forums or sources of Yu-Gi-Oh! Social mediums, which basically all culminate to Ravine was the entire deck, without it, Dragunitys are unplayable. Now, while this isn't completely accurate, it does hold very true that losing Ravine did take a very considerable chunk out of the deck's overall consistency, thus affecting its overall playability. I've taken the time to do some consistency calculations using hypergeometric calculations, which I will share with you to show exactly how much was lost from Ravine being banned and give you an idea of the ground we have to try and make up in order to play the deck in any form of competitive scenario. The statistics provided are being pulled from my deck list that I bubbled YCS Meadowlands in New Jersey with just before Tachyon was legal. Since we can't efficiently rely on Tempest now, I feel it's only fair to compare statistics with a deck list that was physically unable to run Tempest due to it not being legal for play. Overall, statistics from this deck were very strong compared to the statistics given from other decks, now and even then. The deck ran 3 Ducks, 3 Phalanx, 2 Zephyros, and 1 Foolish Burial, giving you 9 copies of cards that you could open, with the additional 6 copies of Dragon Ravine to have some strong 2-card opening plays. The percentage for opening one of these cards alongside your Ravine comes out to about 50.4%, meaning that 1 out of every 2 games that you played, you had the theoretical statistical chance to just straight up open exactly what you wanted and needed to win that game. With 2 Mistletons in the deck, you had a 10.1% chance of opening Ravine, Mistleton, and either Ducks or Phalanx, which was in hand that, if unstopped, was essentially just another auto-win scenario, alongside your Ravine Zephyros openings, which themselves you had a 23.6% chance of just opening Ravine Zephyros. Both of those different percentages, thus factoring into auto-win category, gave the deck just very, very strong overall blanket matchups against decks like Mermails and Firefist at the time, and considering that that's the meta now, I am fairly positive that if Ravine was not banned, Dragunitys would be a very, very strong force in the current meta, but that is just my current, state of mind on the things. Even your probability of just opening Dragon Ravine in a 40-card deck is a 65% chance, leaving you with theoretically only 35 out of 100 games that you would even play that you would have to even work to see the card, i.e. sustain yourself in the game long enough to see the card, or just win via other methods like opening Ducks Foolish or Cards of Consonance Phalanx to draw deeper into cards, things of that nature. So in truth, the deck took a much bigger hit than anybody actually wants to take the time to realize from the January 1st ban list. Knowing these numbers that were lost even is what completely turned me off to the deck, despite how much I wanted to continue playing it, because it is my favorite archetype to ever exist in this game. It is what got me back into the game after a long hiatus. I saw these cards and I wanted to play them, and I've been playing them, and the deck has just been getting indirect support for the last 3 years. I digress, though. I played around with every theory I could possibly think of after the ban list hit, in desperate attempts to try and claw back any form of playability I could out of the deck, but I was getting less than stellar results, and ultimately I just dropped the project altogether in favor of playing meta decks like Hieratic Rulers and Mermails. And it was a refreshing experience to be playing those, but honestly, I would rather go back to just playing Dragunitys, because it's the deck that I know I can pilot better than anyone else that might be playing the deck. And no one else is really going into an event prepared for Dragunitys. It's kind of a stigma where you kind of get hurt by commonly sided things, but people that don't know how to play those sided cards correctly against the deck still aren't going to have that much of an advantage over you. Regardless, finally, I sort of came to a breakthrough scenario which allowed me to revisit one of my previously failed variations of the deck, which gave it just the amount of extra push it needed to give it a promising enough result to go into a full development stage towards me actually trying to make it a deck. It was just promising enough for me to actually want to sit down and theorio for a while and see if I can make the deck playable. But unfortunately, that's all the time I have to talk about this today. I don't want this video to be too long. I will be back tomorrow with another video explaining the structure of the new Dragunity theory, or to begin explaining the new structure of the Dragunity theory and strategies to work towards making them as playable as possible until Ravine comes off the ban list, which I feel could be very soon. If not, we may have to go through another format or two before it finally comes back. It's inevitable that it will come back because it's a card that does not need to stay on the ban list for any given period of time, but whether or not it'll come back now or in the future, nobody knows at this point. We'll know in about 2 weeks when the new ban list is spoiled for us. But as always, thanks for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more content. Click on that if you have not, and help me help you. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps me make money, and there's no reason to lie to you guys about that. And until next time, guys, take care.